We've got 4 deaths on the Venomancer and 5 deaths on Enigma. Neither of them have even been in a kill yet at 21 minutes. This is not how SGC usually play. They're much about action and getting stuff done through the game, or well, during the game. Not only, what should we say, preparing for late game. These guys like to fight, and it's just not working out for them. Whenever they feel like they have a chance at something, they get countered and ganked, or just locked down. And well, all props to EBin, as you said. They've got complete control.
Yeah. I never like to say, especially when we're 21 minutes into a game, there's like people go, oh, it's over. If you want to know what I'm actually talking about, how annoying that actually is, check out the Join Dota forums. There's actually a post on there about the whole phrase of it's over. It is never really over until the end, and of course we do know just how well an anti-mage can carry later on in the game. It's going to be hard against a Dread Ranger who has Manta, Helm, Treads, 1300 gold, a ring, and an Aegis of the Immortal. And that's 21 minutes into the game. That is slightly insane from Rexy. I think I'd actually like to see Rexy and Link actually going head-to-head in a CS competition to see who would actually come out on top of that battle. But yeah, there is always potential, a good black hole. Buy time for an AM to actually maybe get a good start off. Witch Doctor, same thing. Ultimate, who knows? Looking on the bright side of things here. There's obviously not that large of a bright side for it because EBin are playing a very precise game. So they'll need to make some serious mistakes before SGC can get themselves back into this. But it's not over until the fat lady sings. It's never over until the fat lady sings.
It definitely isn't, but yeah, as you said, the big ability on the Radiant now to give a comeback, and we've seen it time and time again, so the Black Hole is the game changer, #1. It's what can really turn games around, and especially when you look at the synergy they've got on the Radiant side. If they manage to catch a lot of heroes in the Black Hole, you know the Anti-Mage ultimate is AoE, so if he's able to drain down one of the high mana pool heroes inside that Black Hole, let's say Shadow Shaman, if he's able to drain a lot of his mana during the Black Hole, and then 2 or 3 heroes are next to him in the Black Hole and they get off a mana void, it's an instant triple kill. But obviously going to be very hard to pull that off. When you look at the Dire side, they've got lots of counters to Black Hole to stop it. Lich ultimate, they've got Rasta with, Shadow Shaman with double spells that stop it. They've got Silence from Draw Ranger, which can be cast from a long range. Ravage, even if they need it. And finally, to cap it off, an Arrows. Actually, all 5 heroes on the Dire side can stop Black Hole. It's going to be very hard for Villic to pull that off.
Yeah, it's just one of those moments, man. It's one of those moments. They will actually have a possibility with Shadow Shaman. Like, it's 350 mana to drop down every set of those wards. He does, however, have Arcane Boots, which could make life a little bit more difficult. But if you actually pop off all of his abilities, you suck away half his mana pool. It's the reason why he's running around with the bottle and the arcanes. He just realizes that his mana will not regen as fast as he needs it to actually do so. A full set of abilities takes away, actually, you want to do the math, 160, 200, 185, and 350. 7 something?
895.
895 mana out of 1184. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, if that's something that EBin will need to be careful with, of course. If Wei Sing drops off all his spells, he's a ticking bomb for them if he stands next to some heroes and a mana void comes in. But I think these guys are very, very much familiar with how this stuff works and how to position themselves, and they're probably not going to give Anti-Mage that chance. But in the heat of the moment, some things can happen. If you forget it for a second and you bunch up a couple of heroes, then the Black Hole's going to be there, the Poison Nova, Cask. I mean, the synergy, when you look over it on the Radiant side, is fantastic if they get their stuff out. But it's very, very case-dependent compared to the Dire side, which have a lot of single-target spells and easier combos to pull off. But the Radiant one should really not be underestimated.
Yeah. If they can get it. It's really hard to actually win any form of team fight, though, when you know Tidehunter's going to be there. And with Shadow Shaman, with the build he's gone, to actually grab that Blink Dagger basically means that if he's not caught out, he can get himself into an easy position where he can either Hex or Shackle or do both at the same time. And it's just like, okay, not only is Enigma and Wish Doctor shut down by one hero, the wards will be tossed in the middle of it, so Mirana has all the fun in there. It is nuts, actually, the pickup that EBin's got. Every single hero has a stun or a disable or both. You've got Silence, you've got Hex, and that's why I'm actually, like, do you ever think Shadow Shaman will actually come back into the world of Dota 1? I remember if we go back about 12 months in the world of the Dota 1 metagame, he was always picked up because people wanted that pushing power of the wards. They wanted to actually have a hex. They wanted to actually have a stun. What actually caused him to go out of fashion?
I don't know. It's a matter of trends, and I mean, in the general metagame that's played right now, which is much push and gank oriented, it's a fantastic hero. And I've got to agree with you, he's completely underrated in Dota 1. He's not a weak laner either. He's got pretty good range, decent damage, a good harassment spell in either shock, good lane control. It's not too easy to gank either because he's obviously got the hex when people show up, and then if some sort of TP support comes in, he can turn around and drop a shackle.
Yeah.
Mass Serpent Ward speaks for itself in terms of pushing. I mean, it's overall a fantastic hero. I don't know, it's just very few teams really appreciate this one. I know for a fact that EBin love it. They first picked this hero in Heroes of New Earth, is what I've been told. So it's obviously something they want to get to Wei Sing to play whenever they can. And I think teams will quickly realize that, all right, maybe this hero, I mean, first of all, it's amazing. That's one thing. But second of all, you really don't give it away to teams that are very, very familiar with how to play it. It's a dangerous tool. And I'm predicting this hero to be a top pick against EBin in the future when more and more teams open their eyes to how these guys play and want to counter them out, because they're a serious contestant right now to competitive Dota 2.
That is actually one thing to see too, as EBin actually progress in the world of Dota 2, and they bring some of these strats over from Hon, how fast people actually, well, we are now out of our pause as well, by the way. I have also turned the game sounds up just a little bit. I think I've actually gone up a little bit too high, it's a little bit too loud. We'll start to drown out everybody else, but hopefully that helps out the people in the IRC chat who are wanting that before the conversation starts up. But just how EBin actually goes and what their depth of heroes are, because obviously they used to Hon heroes who are very, very different, and there's some Hon unique heroes which dominate a lot of the drafting. And I'm just wondering if we're going to have a trouble with EBin once people realize that Rasta is their main key hero, or these are their key heroes, where that depth actually comes out. And that might be where SGC goes, okay, these are the way the guys like to play, and now we know about them, maybe we can find their kryptonite. What heroes do they need to actually make their lineups work?
It's definitely going to be a lot about figuring these guys out. As you say, they play differently than other teams do. It's a different way of playing, and it takes some getting used to. The question is if EBin are going to continue playing their way. They probably are until they lose at least, but once they start losing 1 or 2 games against top teams in competitive matches, are they going to try to keep having faith in their way of playing, or will they adapt, or will the enemies adapt to how EBin played in order to beat them? That's going to be very interesting to see, but I mean, this is worlds collide. It's
this is what we love, man. This is what we love.
It's really interesting to see.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this moment ever since Dota 2 was announced. Ever since we actually kind of knew this was actually in the works. It was like, hell freaking yes. I want to see what happens if the 3 communities combine, if the 3 communities go against each other in any form of combination, and all these different strats from all these different worlds just meet up in this wonderful world of Dota 2. And I still kind of feel a little bit giddy the fact we're actually here. It kind of means, oh! Wei Sing! It is a beautiful Serpent Ward as well as Shackle, holding the Windrunner in place. Mirana is actually the one to get the last hit on that, but that does get them the kill. Twister is also actually getting caught out there by a very, very quick, I think it was actually a Shackle shot to do it, but it was both the Witch Doctor as well as the Windrunner dying, and Twister manages to escape. He is such a hard hero to kill, that Tidehunter.
And getting those 3 kills is going to easily... Alright, pardon me, there's a phone call coming in. I'll attend to that really quickly.
Yeah, that's a phone call. It sounds like there's an emergency evacuation over at your place, man. In the meantime, the tier 2 tower will be pressured on the bottom lane. Rexy has actually forced a TP down there. That's where they lost their second tier 1 tower, which was on that bottom lane. But he's also sitting at 3,200 gold. Would not be surprised if we do see the Eagle song come up in just a moment. And he completes in towards a butterfly sometime soon. If not seeing a bit of crit, I'd like to see a butterfly. Increase the attack speed, increase the evasion. It's just what makes Mirana Mirana. Dro Ranger, what's up? What's up, man? What's up?
And we're back. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I realize that to people who don't know the tune, my cell phone ringtone might actually sound like some sort of an emergency. But Danes might have actually realized what it's all about, and to the guys who are not Danish, this won't make any sense to them anyway. But it's actually the Danish tune for... No, never mind. Anyway, Meanwhile, actually,
Oh, Miranda ultimate sets up. Blink goes in towards the mid lane. Crunch has turned into a chicken right now. He is roosting in the shackle. Will it be enough? Yes, it will be enough. Miranda is there with that Mana style. There were 3 of them to ensure the amount of deaths. And now actually getting stunned up by Enigma. Enigma might be thinking about a black hole. Gets it as well, but only on Trixie. And the BKB is actually up for Shadow Shaman. The power shot wiping out Mirana. Twister did come in, but his cooldown is actually still in effect for his ultimate. 47 seconds. And someone wants to try and push Twister back, but anti-mage for a Mirana trade. For the first time ever, it is actually a 1-1 trade in an engagement. And it's the 4th kill for SGC.
Yeah, but it's a very expensive one as well. They threw the black hole, their kind of comeback spell, to make this kill. And the question is if EBin actually realize, all right, this ability thrown, we might actually just be able to go for the base. They still have the Aegis on the back of the Drow Ranger. She has immense farm, has a BKB now as well as 1300 on top of that Manta and Helm of the Dominator. This is a 25-minute farm. It doesn't get much better than this. Interestingly enough, as you see, this reminds me of a game back in the, I think it was the Nirvana Int era, in which Merlini played in that team. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a long time ago, man.
He is 0-0-0 on the draw. In 26 minutes, he has not been part of a kill. He's AFK farming like Merlini played his Medusa. And his team are destroying SGC 4 versus 5.
Yeah, but that's easy enough for him to do because the rest of the team is destroying them. And maybe that's something which SGC need to go back and look at this game and go, okay, what went wrong? Drow Ranger, the hero who doesn't require much farm. Like at level 16, you can already see plus 45 agility is added by ability, not even by an item. You don't need to buy, like, what was it, the Eagle Song gives you 30?
Yeah.
And you get that, and that's the reason why Drow Ranger is such an inexpensive hero, especially in the mid game. But 26 minutes in, and you got that much farm on a Drow Ranger, and she just sitting there with a Manta style illusions now, just pushing up the mid. They don't give money, but the conversions do. She just farmed them all up, and now also with a stun there on someone, it is EBin Wessing who jumps up. Ravage will also hold the rest of the heroes in place. Starfall to try and bring down the Venomancer who pops off his ultimate. Tidehunter gets himself a double with that Anchor Smash to finish him off. And Moran did kill the Venomancer as well. The only hero to live is Anti-Mage, who was not part of that. He is pushing out the bottom lane in the tier 2 tower, but he will lose his mid-racks because of this.
Interesting to see the HP of the EBin heroes, though. That Poison Nova dealt tons of damage to them. They're actually all inside the... Yeah, they need one hit from Anti-Mage each, and he might actually have a crack at it. The problem is just that the Shadow Shaman is hanging around with that natural Hex of his, of course, to just lock down Conic whenever he TPs in.